So the other day I took this out for a ride and I ran out of gas. But I thought it was weird because the last time I parked this thing, I remember filling it up with a full tank of gas, but after driving a couple miles, it just died on me and took a look inside the gas tank and it was completely empty.
Disappointed!
I do remember my garage smelling like gas. Thought that maybe because this right here was missing the rubber seal, and I do have it here, but I just never used it because I didn't want to risk dropping this in there, so I kind of just left that in there and closed it just like that. But I thought the smell of the gas was just coming from here. So it turns out I was leaking from underneath the gas tank. I thought it could have been my plumbing. I did end up putting a fuel filter down there just because I was paranoid about getting rust from the tank into the carburetors, but I'm just gonna take that out. I do have some of this fuel line here, the one that I think Volkswagen actually used instead of this all rubberized one, and I thought that was a problem, so I swapped it out for the correct one, thinking that that would solve my problem, but it's still kind of leaky down there. Here I am under the gas tank in the front. You can see here I replaced this fuel line because I thought that's where the problem was. That doesn't seem like that's where the leak is. If you see around here, it's still kind of wet and it looks like it's coming from where it actually connects onto the gas tank. So for now, I'm gonna have to take this gas tank off again, see if I can get that taken care of. Here we go with the gas tank off. See how it's really wet right here? That's all gas. I took this guy off and I may have just over torqued it because it completely ripped in there. So I'm gonna have to just get another one of these things. But good news, I did find the problem. You can actually see a little pinhole right there. So it's looking like I'm just gonna have to completely empty this out, wash it a couple times, make sure there's absolutely no more gas in there. I think the best way would just be to put a little tack weld on there. Hopefully that seals it up. And once I get a new one of these things and slap that on here, throw this back into the Squareback, and we should be good to go. I'm really glad I'm going over the gas tank with this tool here. But as I was going through this, I noticed that there were more holes than I thought. I really think that this might be the only areas that are problematic, whereas everything else, all the rust on there is just surface rust. I don't think anything's going through, but while I'm at it, I might as well just kind of poke around and see what else I can find. So I'm done sanding everything. I didn't really care too much about making sure everything was down to bare metal. All I really cared about was finding all the pinholes, which I've already located down here, and also making sure that the entire surface is nice and smooth.
Already burned it.
Oh shit. Damn, boy.
Damn, boy. Damn, boy.
Okay, I got my brother to weld up the holes here. Not exactly the prettiest, but it'll hopefully cover up the holes. I'm not going to bother sanding everything down. I'm just going to go ahead and paint this thing, especially because this is under the vehicle. You don't even really see this. All I have right now is white primer, so I'm just going to primer this whole thing and come back with it with some black paint. After a couple coats of the white primer, I ended up finding some of this self-etching primer, and it's kind of like a olive green. I honestly don't know if it's going to matter that this is a gas tank and I'm using this kind of primer, but I guess we'll see. You can see the first layer of white that I did there, and then use the rest with the self-etching primer. So I'm going to finish that off, then I'm going to wait for it to dry, then flip it over and paint the top side with the primer also. Alright, I got the top of the tank all primered up. I let it sit in the sun for maybe about 30-45 minutes just to kind of cure up. Once this is all good, I'm gonna flip it over and then start painting the underside. And what I'm gonna use is this Krylon Fusion all-in-one, which is a gloss black. It says it's paint and primer. I didn't even need that, but oh well. Here's the bottom side with 3 solid layers of the black paint, and it's looking really good so far. So I'm gonna wait for this to dry up, and then I'm gonna flip it over and do the top. Alright, so we're gonna balance it and just put it in the sun. Hold on. Alright, watch the ladder. Oh shit. And there is the completed, fully painted gas tank. Here's the gas tank after I let the paint cure overnight, and it's looking really good actually. The top is kind of dull, here on the sides is kind of shiny. I don't know if I'm gonna bother using clear coat, I'm just gonna honestly leave it. Okay, I dried what I could on the gas tank. It's ready to go inside the Squareback. Before I do, I was digging through my old stuff and I found this. I actually bought this like 2 years ago, but since I didn't restore the inside of the gas tank, it's eventually gonna have to come out. And also when I completely rebuild the front brake system, the gas tank is gonna wanna come out also to make it easier for me to work on the hard lines. I don't think I'm gonna put this on this time, so I'll put this away again maybe for another 2 years. That gas tank is going in here. While digging through all my old stuff, I also found that I bought this gasket for the sending unit, and I just never bothered putting it on because I was waiting for today. The original one that came off of it is like a rubber type seal. This one's kind of like a cork type. So the inside of the gas tank seems pretty dry now, so I should be good to install the sending unit. And now we have the top end of the gas tank all done. What I completely forgot about though is the Teflon tape that's supposed to go on the threads in the bottom of the tank. And I really don't want to take all this out again. So I'm just going to go down underneath and hopefully it's not too bad winding this on the threads. I put my plumbing back to how I had it originally before with the rubber tube. There's that mesh screen tube thing here. So even if any rust was to go through that mesh screen, it should get caught by this filter. If it goes through this other filter, there's still another filter over by the engines. So I should be good, I think. I'm gonna put a little bit of gas on the inside and just kind of monitor how this looks down here and see if she runs. Moment of truth. I put some gas in the tank. I just put maybe a quarter of a gallon. And we're back in business. Let's go. Now with the lines fully primed with fuel, let's see how easily I can get it to start without even pressing on the gas pedal.